Welcome back to the 6th episode of the onlymessin podcast. Lads, last episode you might have heard some ads coming in. We got some feedback from some people that they heard like weird advertisements for Tala cars. If you're thinking that we're getting big bucks, you're completely right. We started monetizing the podcast and now we're earning 6 cents an episode. So like, I mean,
it's all about quantity now. Like, get that 6 cents every single time. Like, you do the math.
We're just going to fragment each episode of a podcast into like 140 bits, which would mean that 140 times 0.06 is, Kieran, come on.
84.
84. Now.
€84. Easy clap.
Easy money right there.
Easy scam, like.
Are you, Kieran, since you started like, obviously you're training to be a professional accountant, would you consider would you consider yourself to have like good counting ability? Like, because I know, right, every time I finish work I have to count the register. I work in a cafe and I have to count the money that's in the register, and I learned how to do it pretty quick, and now I don't even use a calculator after so much practice. But I feel like with you, is that a shared thing where like, you know, you're obviously not like fucking like multiplying millions in your mind, but like something along the lines of that? Would you have that similar experience?
Like, yeah, I could do it, but I hate when people are like, "Oh, come on, Mr. Accountant boy, hurry up!" and they give me like 2 seconds. But it's like, no, if they give me like 10 seconds, maybe 15, yeah, I can get the figure, but just give me a second.
What's that you study again?
Come on, boy, what's that you study again?
Yeah, it gets in a headlock, starts rustling your hair. What's that you study?
I won't be hiring you, man.
Oh god.
That's have you ever been like compared to the character of Rain Man from the Rain Man movie, and then got into like, have you ever been enticed by one of the lads where they basically kidnapped you and brought you into a casino and made you count cards? No. Has that ever happened in your life?
No.
Or are you just counting crypto?
Only during rag week, you know, keep it.
Keep it.
I don't think I've ever been in any kind of, like, casino, like where you can like do bets.
But we actually, before, as Kieran said, before we started the podcast, we actually come in with some ideas, right? So one of the ideas that we had for talking about today was where do you see where do I see myself going in the future versus where I saw myself before going to college? So I think Eoin, I was gonna say, like, you're now studying physics, and I bet you get like 100 people that ask you like, "Oh, what are you gonna do with that physics degree, science boy?"
Yeah, it's one of those things.
What are you gonna do, boy? Make floating cards?
Back to the Future, is it? No, I think it's one of those things where like people ask me, "Oh, like what do you?" And then like it's usually like, you know, some like person who's like 40 or something say, "And what jobs would you get with that now?" It's like, good question, actually. I don't really know. But it's like, I don't know, it's one of those things I just kind of studied it because I find it kind of interesting, and it's a bit like broad. So like, you know, I'm like, not that it's broad as in like I learn a lot of broad shit, but it's more like I could like maybe just like do other things like afterwards, like, you know what I mean, just like even like coding or programming, or like, you know, just even going into academia or something. Like,
it opens the door.
It opens the door per se, but like, I don't know, just I that was my intention with going into physics, was just like, oh yeah, like I'll just have options at the end of it, like, you know what I mean. But it was more like I kind of like doing it anyway. It's kind of like, oh yeah, like, because like how I rationalize it, I might have said this before, but it's like I like all the sciences, right? But I just look as like, okay, psychology is just applied biology, and then biology is just applied chemistry, and then chemistry is just applied physics, and next thing, but then like physics is just applied maths. But I couldn't go maths. That's just too deep, to be honest. Like, if I can have
too much down the rabbit hole, like.
Yeah, there's a few people I know who do maths, and like I'm just like, how do
I
you
heard
do that?
I heard of people doing maths where they like start an equation on the laptop screen, and the number will get so big that they'll actually start it on the laptop, but it'll transfer over onto paper where they keep the number going. So like they hold it up next to their monitor and have the number going, and then their workings underneath it. Like fuck that noise, just calculator. Like 1 + 1 = 4, but it's not that hard. Like
getting decimal places of pi or something. I don't know what.
So Owen, you were the fairy tale story of I just go in now and see this be grand, like, but it wasn't like the usual thing where someone just fucking spun a wheel like for what course they do on their CAO form and like drop out after like 2 weeks. You actually put some research. You rationalized out your decisions and were like, okay, which one is like I don't know what job I want, but I know what I'm good at and also what I am interested in, and it seems to be working out so far.
Yeah, that was basically it. Like, and it's one of those things where like it's not my hobby because I'm kind of one of those, like, I don't know. I think like your work and your hobbies should be kind of separate. I don't know. It's kind of one of those things where like, you know, when people say, oh, like, you know, if you do what you love for a living, you won't work a day in your life. And to a certain extent, it's true. But I think I like too many different things that like I can't actually just like focus on one thing that's like, oh, that's like my life's passion or something. Like, you know, I just kind of like a lot of different stuff.
Yeah, I don't like anything. I
personality.
don't like anything enough that I could say that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Like in that regard, in regards of like a hobby. I get what you mean.
I feel extremely attacked now in this conversation, lads. I'm just studying like
Score now. Fucking follow these dreams.
just going like, yeah, I like drawing pictures, so I think art is the thing for me. It's funny how it. No, but
to you, Bartek. Let's throw it over to you. Like, what was your plan going in, and now what's your plan coming out? Because you're both in your final years, if I'm not wrong, am I?
You are wrong. I'm in my 3rd year. I have 4 years.
Wrap it up there. Look, have a good one.
Yeah, you're wrong, kid. Nah,
yeah.
no. Half right.
Yeah, but like before I went into like the funny thing is you mentioned the CAO there, Kieran, the CAO form. For any people that are listening outside of Ireland that don't know what the CAO form is, can you explain that? Because I never really got into the intricacies of the CAO form because I never had to fill in a CAO form because I was studying abroad. So I just applied to the college, and I think even before I did the Leaving Cert, I already like got accepted to the college. The only thing is like I had to get like basic grades to meet the criteria of being accepted into the college. So like 1 + 1 = 4 was sufficient maths knowledge for me to get into this college.
Yeah, it's like yeah, because the entry requirements are pretty low for like Dutch universities compared to like Irish ones, because it's one of those things where like, at least from what I see, is like they basically let most people in, like they let a huge number of applicants in, and they tried to kind of weed people out in the first year. So they kind of be like, you know, they'll give you introduction courses and stuff, but it's one of those things where like if you can't keep up, so if you fail 25% or over 25% of your courses in the first year with resits, you're not allowed to apply to the program again. So you kind of have one shot in the first year. Jeez. And it is a bit intimidating. Like I guess, like I found it intimidating when I was, you know, but like with CAO, it's kind of like, from what I've seen, it's just like, man, like the level of, you know, it's almost luck to get into some of those high
That's exactly how I
like
describe
it's just the fucking slot machine, like getting into that. Like I know the stuff you can do to improve your chances, but you know, I know people, like we all know people who just, you know, they study their absolute like arse off and they fucking just don't get it. Like it's
it's heartbreaking.
Sure, yeah. I'd be an example. Not in terms of I didn't get the course I wanted. The course I wanted to get like was low. So like basically I guess I'll explain it. CAO forms in Ireland it's all based on points for your course. So Oh, I'm being called.
Wow.
Kieran. It's just it's probably the puppy, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Kieran's dog Ringo.
But,
But-
because it's like 625 points, so you can
Max,
that's the score. Because like a lot of other countries, they're like, oh yeah, like 1 to 10, like, and we're just here
And
like,
you're like, what?
yeah, 625 points. That's like, you know, and you could miss out your course by 2 points, which is like, you know, 1/6%, like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So of all the possible points, so that's really, that's pretty
it's such
horrible.
a hard system, like, you know.
Yeah.
Like, thank God I didn't have to deal with it, because I just applied for the Dutch college, and Dutch college was like, you need like whatever this number out of English, this number out of maths, and I had that easily.
Yeah.
But I remember Owen actually, you know, because Owen and I, I think the first introduction that we had to studying abroad, or like the thing that kind of maybe like pushed us to studying abroad, is both of us took a trip down to Dublin. I think we took the bus, the JJ Kavanagh bus, right? The legendary JJ Kavanagh bus.
The 4-hour bus.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Dublin, like,
Up to Dublin, and then
it's an hour and a half drive, but this bus just takes 4.5 hours.
It is
sometimes, for no
crazy.
reason.
It's literally like if you ever watch the introduction of the Borat movies, where Sacha Baron Cohen's character has to get to America, and the way he gets to America is not in like a straightforward way of like travels to Iceland or stops off at Iceland, goes to America. No, it's like Iceland, back to Russia, back to Africa, like, you know, just a roundabout way of just getting to the destination.
South Africa, Indonesia, like goes to Hawaii, goes back. You know.
Hello.
Yeah, hello Kieran. Hello Kieran. What happened there?
Oh my god.
Fair enough. It's probably trouble with the dog or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
so.
But
What we were saying is that
cut that shit out.
cut that shit.
Yeah.
I think we're going to include it in the podcast, because it's just so it shows like the cool-hearted, fun-forwarded heart. Did I just say fun? Yeah.
Fucking mother.
Okay.
No, but the boss anyway. Like you were saying.
Yeah, we were talking about. We got the bus up to Dublin to go to like this Dutch. I think it was like a conference being held by Dutch universities, colleges, about like enticing you to study in the Netherlands. Which I don't know why they entice you to study in the Netherlands. I know they kind of want to make some money, but also the government is already subsidizing a certain amount of tuition fees. So it's like, hey, the government wants to spend more money on people that don't even live in the Netherlands. But go ahead. But we went to the Dutch the conference. But to get to the conference, we nearly missed it. Remember that, Owen?
Yeah, we had to go to Blanchard's town. It was funny.
Yeah.
It's just like, I think we're on like O'Connell Street, like on one side of the river in Dublin, and like, you know, there's like kind of bus stops like on either side of the on either side of the bridge. And next thing we're just like, oh, which one's Blanchard's town? And next thing was just like, the bus driver was like, that one there, lads. And it was just like the other side. It was just busy as fuck. We were just like, let's go.
We had to run across the street. Like, yeah, or the bridge.
Playing Frogger, just like almost knocked down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but then we ended up getting on the bus, and the bus was like, I think it was like 4 o'clock when we got in Dublin. And it was like high traffic, so we didn't realize how much. We basically stuck in traffic for an hour and a half, and what we did end up doing is we ended up getting off the bus and finding a taxi and going to Blanchardstown. Right?
I forgot about that.
Yeah, remember that? We had to get a taxi because we were going to be late, and we ended up getting a taxi into the place. And they had this like few foreign speakers talking about how like good studying in Netherlands is. They had also some Irish like students that studied in Netherlands, and yeah, it was. I went to like I didn't expect there to be any art colleges in there, but there was one art college that was called the Willem de Koning, which is the art college that I'm attending now. And I was talking to the representative, and that's how I got the course. But before coming into course, actually, going back to like what we were talking about, like when I went into fine art, I wanted to become a tattoo artist at the end of it, and I'm still working on making a tattoo art portfolio because I'm quite interested in that. But at the same time, I find that like I have this variety of interests in like not just like visual art, but also like, you know, music, narrative based, like storytelling and shit like that. So I started looking at like video games as maybe potentially a path that I could go explore. So now I'm making a video game about land culture in Ireland, and yeah, I'm just learning how to code and stuff, and it's actually a pretty fun thing. So potentially at the end of the study, I might become a video game designer, like an indie video games designer,
Nice.
which is like, but the thing is, like, I never thought I was gonna be that, like, I'm gonna be in that position, you know?
Yeah.
I thought to myself, oh, I finishes art college, becomes artist, makes load of money. Because, you know, for me, when I said, well, my parents never went to college, so I'm the first person I think of my family to actually go to college. Like, that's crazy. Yeah, first person in my family to go to college. I don't think there's anyone else in my family that has been to college. But so my parents didn't know what college was like, and I didn't know what college was like, and I thought that by the end of the 4 years of me being in college, I'll be living this bohemian lifestyle, being a urban
eating
hipster.
grapes. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? Just like lying down eating grapes, just like everyone's like nude and painting each other, like, you know.
Yeah, man. But the complete opposite is happening, like, you know. But it's fun, like, you know. But that's the thing, is like sometimes your expectations that you have for like your college life, or even when you're doing your course, you're thinking to yourself, this might not be the thing for me, or I don't know if I really like this. Because a lot of the times when you finish high school, or secondary school, you completely rush into like, oh, I need to go into college now because there's this societal pressure. But the thing is, like, no,
you're not sure, like, you know.
Yeah,
that's it, like, you know what I mean? If you're not sure, just like, why bother like wasting the money? Just like take a year and think about it, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, or even like just like even if you finish the degree, just finish the degree, and like you have a degree under your belt, and at least you have that, and you can always do something else. Like it's not like one closed off path where like I want to become this person when I was 18 and still not fully developed. And now this is clearly the path that I'm going to have to pursue for the rest of my life. Because often people that do that, you see this like pattern of depression spiking, like in their late life, because they're just happy or dissatisfied with their routine.
Well, it's a roll of the dice, really, isn't it? Like, say there's a theory. I don't know if it's psychology. I don't know what theory where it originates from. But it's called a 7-year personality cycle, where every 7 years apparently your personality can change. Like, I suppose a minute example would be like me, music wise, like going into college 2018, like fucking
Yeah.
you like listen to like fucking rap music and like, oh yeah, I kill people, man, you know what I'm compared to now where I listen to like, I know, the fucking Smiths and like fucking
I want to be with you everywhere.
yeah, like well, not so much, but like stuff like that, like Neutral Milk Hotel, all these like fucking, I am so sad right now, like, you know, like that kind of carry on.
It's like, instead of like folding your like like ironing your shirt and just go like, kill people.
Yeah.
And it just like
So
most suburban thing ever, just like, kill people.
And like I've had that to a smaller extent with my degree, I suppose. So like, from like, as we said last time we were talking about this kind of thing, I knew what I wanted to do since I was like in second year, but of like secondary school. But now in third year, on my placement in a multinational company where I do a form of like accounting, so it would be fund accounting. I was like, so I'm like 4 months in out of an 8-month placement. I'm like counting down the days to where it's done. I'm like, I don't want to do this shit for the rest of my life. Go away with that, carry on. So now the plan is to either find a stream of accounting that I like, or just try and use the business degree I have to like force myself into another industry, like put the fucking square block through the circle hole, like, you know what I mean? Like, see if I can get something out of it. So like, I suppose going back to the topic that we started with, going into college, I was like, accountant. I know I'm gonna love it. Like, whatever thing I get into, like, I'm just gonna love it. Like, because as my teacher told me, accountant legend, like he's gonna be a king. But now, like as I go in, I'm like, maybe I'm not an accountant legend. Maybe I don't want to be that anymore.
Kieran just like gracing his fingers across the page, and it balances, like, you know, just.
Man, I walked into the company and their stock just like went like fucking up 3 folds. They're like, he's here.
The chosen one.
Man.
Right.
No,
Oh,
but like,
yeah, no, sorry.
no, go ahead, because you were gonna ask Kieran a question, so I think that's better off.
I was thinking just like, I guess a lot of people do have this like experience where they, you know, they say apply for a course or something, and they have some idea of like what the degree is about, and like what you'll be doing in it, and like what kind of like mindset you'll be like doing stuff with, and then you go into it and you're just like, this isn't what I thought it would be at all, like, you know.
Yeah.
And, like, did you have that, Kieran? Like,
yeah, I think, like, I can't speak for other countries, I can't speak for other people's like experiences, but in Ireland it feels like you're just like, if you ask a question about a course, it's like you're nearly told like, what are you on about, like, because you're given a book, the prospectus with all the courses, like has all these module names. And it's like, that's fine and dandy, and you go on their website and it's like, you will say that, for me it could be called like like for a business degree you'll do a human resource module, and like
HR.
I went onto the website, I was like, let's see what this is about, and it was literally, it basically was 2 paragraphs of it going, this is human resource, where you will study human resource, and in human resource you do a lot of things about human resource, and human resource is very important to human resource. And I was like, cheers, now I have such an insight into this module that I'll be doing, and that will contribute to like the degree of the job that I want to go into. Like, I was like, what kind of explanation is this to a 17 or 18-year-old who has to decide what they're going to do with their lives for the next 3 to 4 years? And if not that, another 5 to 8 if they go master's, PhD. Is like, the least you could do is like get someone in to say like, oh yeah, you'll like have to do like a presentation on like the kind of I won't get into the mechanics of HR, but like, you know what I mean? Like, it just felt like there was no in-depth analysis of any course, and it was like a really like what's the word? Kind of like dip your toes in, like, oh yeah, you'll get to do this and that and this, but there was no like, when it came to like the hard-hitting questions at the events or like the colleges you go to, they're just like, yeah, but you'll enjoy it, like, you know, the college experience, you know, you like going out.
Yeah. You always have that. It's just like, on an open day, you have like one of those, like, you know, you have like the students showing you around, and next thing it's just like, just like, you know, really like study heavy, and then you have like one student who's given like doing the open day, and he's like, oh lad, some sessions going on here, I swear. You know, just like, you always have that one fellow who's just like, oh yeah, just like the nightlife here, it's like you know, and just you know, studying there, it's really important, like, to the parents, and it's like, yeah, but you'll have a lot of free time at first year, like, or something, just I don't know.
Like, okay.
You know. No, but I mean, like, I actually forgot what I was gonna say, but I was gonna comment on like the fact that, like, even when you come out of college, a lot of times you see that people just don't do anything that's closely related to their degree, which is like, it's okay, like, you know, it's fine, because I was thinking, like, I remember the first time, like, I don't know why I imagined this, but I remember when you Owen, you brought me, I think you started making hazelnut butter at the start of the last pandemic or something like that, or the start of the last lockdown, I mean. Jesus, and I remember, I think it was like my birthday, and you came over and you dropped by a jar of this, like, basically homemade Nutella, and I was like, this man is definitely going to drop out of physics course and end up setting up this big, massive, like, you know, like, artisanal hazelnut butter company, where he's like
clogging people's arteries for a living.
You're looking at this all wrong. He's not disregarding the degree. He's going to use his physics degree to just analyze the hazelnut down to a absolute nano analysis.
Yeah.
So his hazelnut butter will be scientifically and socially the best in the world. Like, you're looking at this completely sideways, man.
So
You're
if you
looking
get
at the
weight
map
function
upside
of the
down.
liquid-
The thing is, like, I don't know what you're doing to the hazelnut butter, man, but it was really delicious. Like, I remember. Now, let me describe this hazelnut butter and just give you a little food
It's just not
porn
that hard
here.
to make. Like,
But the consistency of the hazelnut Nutella, kind of hazelnut butter / Nutella thing, is it was so thick and had little bits of like hazelnut chunks, and like it was the richness of the hazel the nut flavor in this Nutella was just absolutely delicious. And then with the lovely contrast of the chocolate, and you spread that on a hot bit of toast, like just a hot bit of Brennan's Toast, which is a company of bread, like a bread manufacturer in Waterford. If you spread that across a bit of Brennan's Toast,
it's like
bang!
imagine the I don't know, kind of like the heaviness of peanut butter, but it's like a hazelnut taste and like a bit of Nutella. Like, that's how I
Stop.
It's actually class. But oh my god, single-handedly like put on a load of weight like eating that stuff. Just like, yeah, I was just like, fucking hell, like, can't be eating this, like, you know, too often, like, you know.
Yeah. But I think did you have a similar experience, right? If we just kind of talk about the first lockdown, I remember for the first lockdown, I came back to my house, and I hadn't been home in a while, and all of a sudden it was like it felt like I was in the summer holiday of, like, obviously shit was going down in the world, but for me it felt like I was on a summer holiday before entering the first year of college, like similar vibe, like still living in my parents' house. But the thing is, when you're in college, you have to buy your own food. But when you're at home, you don't really have to buy your own food. Like, well, at least my parents
just appears in the fridge.
Yeah. And it was like the craziest stuff that I could not afford in college. Like, you know, like I remember my parents, when I came back, my dad bought me 2 24 packs of Guinness, and he was like, "Welcome home, Bartek." And I was like, "Oh my."
I love you, father.
Literally like fucking Squidward tentacles. Oh my god, they have it. Canned bread.
But I remember I got so fat because of Guinness, and I'm not saying that. Like, I remember, like, not fat, but I put on a weight. You know, who am I to judge what fat is and what fat is not? But I put on a weight, and I remember, because before that I was like prime shape of my life. I was training to do a marathon. I was running like 22 kilometers for.
Yeah, what happened,
you know,
Bartek? Like,
yeah, I don't know. Now I can barely run like 4 kilometers, but I'm trying to get back on the grind. Rise and grind every day, boys. But yeah, I remember the first lockdown I put on some load of weight because of Guinness and also your hazelnut butter on. It's delicious.
Yeah, it's actually just literal crack. I think it's one of those. I think I just opened Pandora's box. Like, you know, it can't be like, it's like, I know that exists. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like, you know, there's before that and now there's after that, and it's like it can't be changed. You can't go back in time. You know. But
Kieran, have you put on weight since the first lockdown?
No, the opposite. I've lost weight. So pre lockdown, like you, Bartek, I was probably in the best shape I've ever been, all down to creatine, because I was scared away from it for so long, because I was told like my fucking liver would give out if I took it. And I looked up a study, and it was like, yeah, that's like so extreme. It would take like so much to do that. And I started taking it. And like at first I was like, this is doing nothing. And then it's like, I think a lot of people who go to the gym kind of experience. I got it when I first started going when I was 16. And I looked in the mirror and I just went, holy shit!
Can we explain what creatine is, actually?
Creatine, like, I'm not a scientist, but I think that it is similar to protein, where it kind of accelerates the kind of the rebuilding of muscle. It's found in red meat, so kind of similar to protein. Like, if you aren't getting your creatine intake, say from like meats and whatever else, and I don't know what it's in, you just take a scoop fit. Now a scoop literally is 3 grams in water. Like it's not like a protein scoop where it's 20 odd grams.
Well, it could be bad. Like, you know.
Could be if you wanted to. If you,
Could be just your heart pounding.
If you're serious about buying one,
Jesus
you don't want to take this serious, do you? And yeah, so like I don't. All I know is that it worked for me. It doesn't work for others. Some people say it's absolute fucking placebo, and if it is, fuck me, placebo is the real deal. Like, I actually felt unreal. But then back to the topic, like lockdown hit, the gyms closed, and like everyone, I tried ordering those fucking resistance bands. I was like, I'm gonna get fucking huge off this. So I ordered this dodgy on Instagram, and I think it took 3.5 months. Like, how long was the lockdown? That's like fucking 4 months or something.
Well, yeah, from March till around May.
Yeah, so I say they came in like the middle of April, and I ordered them like start of February. And then I used them like 3 times, and then one of them broke, and I just got pissed off. Fuck this, man. I'm not just waiting for the gyms to reopen, and then the gyms reopened, and it just never was like dramatic as it just wasn't the same, because in the gym I was in at first, the way arena, like the college gym, basically, you only had hour slots. So I was like, fuck this, man. I can't get into like, because like the difference between an hour and an hour and a half was like huge. I was like, I can't get into a groove. Like, I'm fucking rushing through everything. And then I joined my local gym down the road from me, and like I was getting on Grand Air, and then sure, everything locked up again. Understandably, because the country was in fucking mayhem. Like fucking Frosty the Snowman now, and fucking 3,000 cases a day. Like fucking Christmas was a disaster here for COVID.
Yeah.
But yeah. So to answer your question, Bartek, after taking up about a century of everyone's life, yeah, I actually lost weight. Right.
Kieran gives us like 7-day meal plan. Like,
I actually prepared a graph and handouts. If everyone listening could just take one, just pass around, just fucking licking the thumb. Yeah, just take one of those photos. Yeah.
See, we have a bigness on the y-axis and time on the x-axis. So we'll follow this graph now.
But Kieran, I know what you're talking about with the creatine. It kind of makes you feel good. I remember I was on a big gym hype, I think in TY, and I know a lot of people are going to like these house parties. I think it was the first house parties you could go to. A lot of people were bringing like, you know, naggins of vodka. Naggins is like, I don't even know what's it. Yeah, and
what do the kids drink these days?
But I was going to buy alcohol as well, but then I realized that, well, creatine, I think, takes out water from your muscles, giving you more defilement. That's what it does. And that's why it's
opposite. That's what it does, Bartek.
Yes.
Fuck,
yes.
You remind me. It pumps the water into your muscles and makes you look big.
Yeah, and it also improves your strength. But at the same time, if you're going to drink, you might have liver problems because you're simply not getting enough water into your body. So I was like, all right, I'm on creatine. And I was on creatine for like 5 months. I didn't drink anything during that time. Not that I was underage drinking, but I remember I went. I actually was such a prick. I went to a house party, right? And I know that usually at house, I think it was a birthday party. And usually, you know, at birthday parties in Ireland before the age of 18, you know, people would come in, there'd be chats, whatever. And then let's say 9 o'clock hits and the pizza arrives from either Domino's or Apache, but mostly Apache or some off-brand one. And that time is like when everyone's the hungriest and you're just basically scavenging for a slice of pizza. But I knew, I was like, all right, I'm going to have to fight the hunger because I'm going to be at this party for 4 hours. So I decided to go to Holland and Barrett and I bought myself like 4 protein bars and I put into the pockets of my jacket. No, but listen, right? I remember I was.
You're literally that guy. Like,
I remember
cringing. Oh,
yeah. I was at the party, right? And I left my jacket over somewhere on the couch, man. And in my jacket there were all my protein bars, so I went over to the jacket and I took out a protein bar. I was kind of ashamed of like, you know, obviously for right reasons, that I was just having protein bars at a party, right? But I took the protein bar and I walked outside And like usually on the outside of a house, there's a place that's kind of darker where a lot of people like shift. And I went in there. Yeah, and there was no one there, and I was like, all right, this is the right place to eat this protein bar without anyone being seen. It was the equivalent of making love to a protein bar, like, you know, while everyone was having Apache pizza inside the house.
That reminds me of like you know, the whole thing. It's like every Irish pub ever, and the guy gets a glass of Guinness and he's like drinking it and priming
in the bathroom, like
yeah, and people are just shaking their head at him, like, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, it's from a girlfriend. All right, yeah.
Man, that is actually like, isn't that so pathetic? Like, literally, some lads can't order what they want in a pub because I do it. Like, I'm the worst for like thinking, oh, what do they think? Like say if I'm walking my dog and he's a puppy, like, so he's like fucking jumping up on our dogs, I'll be the first to go, oh, I just turn around, boy, don't worry about it. And then I turn around and I'm like, I don't want to walk back. Like, I just completely bent over for this fella whose dog was like fucking playing with my dog, and now he has the high ground. Like, I was like, why are you doing that to yourself? And in pubs especially, like, say if you're doing like a rounds kind of thing, and like say you're drinking, for example, Guinness, and like, I like Guinness, I really do, I love Guinness, but there is a point in the night where you're like, I don't want to drink this stuff anymore. I feel like I'm after having a 6-course meal, and I can smell the fucking farts already from tomorrow, like. And next thing, one of the lads will get up and he's like, oh, same again, lads. And you just have to go, yeah, sound bad, sound. Yeah, and all you want is some fucking vodka and splash.
That's the thing, like, it's just that, like, kind of shit within, like, lads where they're like, nah, I can't show that I'm sensitive, or like, I can't be vulnerable in front of the lads.
Sensitive, and
like,
you want a fucking, like, fucking vodka. Like.
Yeah, but it's the thing is, like you can't order like I'll just have a strawberry daiquiri, which is fucking delicious. That drink is delicious. I love daiquiris and stuff. But you can't like, I feel like there's this kind of pressure upon, like, especially young males, that they feel like, I'll fucking have a pint of Heineken, and then you have to like drink this sparkling pint of piss for the next like 12 rounds, and at the end it just doesn't even become pleasant, but you're like, yeah, one of the boys,
fucking love it, bad, love it.
You know,
what's the Liverpool it's like, here, can I have a pint of here, what's the Liverpool sponsor again? Carlsberg. Oh yeah, can I have a pint of Carlsberg there, like, you know, just...
Oh, what does Conor McGregor drink, boy? I drink that.
the proper
legend. Fucking love that fella. Oh, when he boxed that old fella, fucking hero.
But like, that's the thing, is like, you go into like drinking these alcohols that are like, oh yeah, this is what I was supposed to drink, like, just to be cool. Like, I remember I went into like really heavily drinking, like, not heavily drinking now, like whiskey. No, but like I the only thing I would drink was like whiskey, because that's like a gentleman's drink. And I was like, after, like, whiskey tastes horrible at the start. Like, it does taste horrible, man. But I was like, oh yeah, I look cool when I drink whiskey.
I fucking knew it.
But when then after like a while of drinking whiskey, I was like, I'm actually enjoying this drink, and now I'm drinking whiskeys for the actual flavor of it. Although sometimes I like to make myself little cocktails, like I'll make it like a whiskey sour in my protein shaker, because I can't afford like one of those like fancy bartender shaker things. Speaking of not having to afford, like not being able to afford fancy bartender shaker things, if you share and like this podcast, we can get more than 6 cents for every episode.
That will be,
so we would really appreciate that, so I can get a bartender
a fucking bartender's kit.
Yeah, for my whiskey sours.
So just give it a share, leave it on, put on Spotify when you're charging your phone at night, and just mute your phone and play the podcast, so Tala, Sports Motors, or whoever's ads get played on it can give us money, give us 6 cents every time that happens. Thanks, guys.
You just need to roast the advertisers.
Yeah.
That's the only way. You just have to make fun.
Guys, to the listeners, I have a proposition. So, if you can get 4 friends to listen to the podcast and get them to pay just $9.99, I will give you $20. And for every 4 friends you recruit, I will give you $20.
No, it's not a pyramid, it's a funnel.
It's like with every new follower, I will give you 10 lessons on my financial course to make you rich.
Speaking of finance, Crypto King is back, baby. Ether is up, so no worries there. We were down. For all my down dogs were up again. You know, look, the lessons pay off. So once again, offering the deal. Oh, it's back down again, but it's going to come back up again. Don't worry. This is all part of the plan to get you rich the quickest way possible, so we're all retired by 30 on yachts.
Now begins Kieran's 5-minute section of just like financial advice. Like, just like, I'm telling you, lads, put the house on it. Like,
put the house on black. Put the house on black.
It's like did you ever see those people like especially when there's like fights on? It's like, oh man, you have to put like all your money on Conor McGregor. It's basically stealing money because you know he's gonna win. Like you just know he's gonna win. It's basically robbing the bookies. Like it's like shut up, man.
But house always wins with the bookies. You know what I mean? Like they have like mathematical models, like, you know what I mean. They have computers somewhere just like sorting all this shit out, like, you know what I mean. And it's just like
fucking Paddy Power to his team. I don't know, just figure it out, Mr. Scientist.
Yeah. Oh God, fucking hell.
But yeah, how long has this podcast been on for? 45 minutes or 40 minutes?
Yeah.
We're trying to save some topics for when Ollie is around. Unfortunately, Ollie, well, like as we didn't mention this, but Ollie's not.
Wasn't here. I forgot to mention it.
Yeah. Ollie's not on today's podcast because he has to study. I think something like that.
Yeah, some stupid excuse.
Yeah. But like no study, drinking all day, pints with the lads, Heineken pint.
We're here making 6 cents an episode, and he's fucking playing checkers, fucking studying for a degree. What a load of rubbish. I think in the next few weeks we'll have a bit. I suppose the word I'd use is more interactive, where we'll all do something like before the podcast, and then we'll come on and share our results. So I suppose I'll throw a little spoiler, because everyone's on the edge of their seats wondering what will the boys do next. We're gonna
yeah.
In the near future, so it could be next week, could be next month, could be next year, lads. We're all gonna do the Enneagram personality test, which is like a test that breaks down your person. There's 9 different personality types, and we're all just gonna do it and talk about it, because that's what you do on a podcast. You do stuff and pretend that people care.
Yeah. Just like as if people want to hear it, you know.
Well, I'm more of an Aquarius.
Yeah,
I am Aquarius.
Oh, and I have to say, your results, you're just such a fucking Leo. It's insane.
Fucking bitch.
Wait, what time are you born at? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can just make something up.
No, but I think we were planning to implement more things into the podcast. I think one of the ideas that we had previously was
more gimmicks.
That we do like segment the podcast into different parts where we still have like an actual conversation, but we have like a little, I don't know. One of the things that we were talking about was maybe like playing like a video, like a quick video that was a meme at the time in Ireland. For example, one of the videos could be like the Patrick Athletic guy that Eoin does so well. The impression of which Eoin does so well, and one person we were talking about as well was like, what's the name of that bit of Freshbert? That was like a big thing in 2011.
I think
we'll see.
Knows him.
The vintage meme, Freshbert.
Yeah, the vintage Irish memes.
He's Scottish, that fella.
Northern Irish, right?
Nah, he's Scottish, I think.
Oh shit.
So get your facts right.
Did you just assume his nationality? Did you just do that live on podcast?
It's actually just not cool. Like, actually just leave. Like, fucking.
But anyway, hope you enjoyed this. 45 minutes of absolute shite.
Garbage.
But yeah, make sure you follow the podcast, and we'll see you for next episode 7, which, I mean, guys, right? Every episode 7 of every podcast is just a big spike up in quality.
Banger.
So you gotta be there, guys. Gotta be there next week. Am I right? I'm right, right?
You are so right, man.
Yeah.
So right can't be
Rock
fucking
and
left.
roll.
Anyway, lads, thank you so much for listening to Only Messin podcast, and see you next week.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Follow us.
See you next week.
All right. Bye.